Hi, everybody. Al Bernstein with another one of my quick hits. And on this one, I'm going to talk about a fight that I'll be announcing on September 12th on the pay-per-view that will feature Floyd Mayweather and Andre Berto. It is the chief support for that fight, and it's part of a very good undercard. And it is a rematch between Orlando Salido and Roman Rocky Martinez. Now, they met once before earlier this year, and contesting the WBO super featherweight title. And in that match, it was a wild rock'em sock'em affair. It is a candidate for Fight of the Year. It's a fight in which Martinez won a unanimous decision, 114-111, 115-110, and 116-109 on the scorecards. But part of the reason why there was even that much margin is because 2 points were deducted from Orlando Salido during the course of the fight. There was also a knockdown of Salido. So other than those three things, you can see that the rest of the fight was very, very close. And Salido was coming on strongly in the last 3 or 4 rounds of this fight. Now, as for Orlando Salido, who is a former champion, a veteran of the sport, a 34-year-old who is, well, let's just put it this way. In the dictionary, next to rough and tumble, if we could use 2 words, would be the picture of Orlando Salido. He has been known to, let's just say, bend the rules slightly during the course of a boxing match. He has a win over Vasily Lomachenko, who is now considered one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world. And that was significant. And of course, if you remember Orlando Salido, he beat Juan Manuel Lopez twice down in Puerto Rico in very dramatic fashion. He is an exciting fighter to watch and always provides action in his matches, as he did against Martinez, even in the losing cause in their first fight. As for Rocky Martinez, a 33-year-old who has also had won the title once before and lost it, and now won it again when he fought Salido in their last fight. Now, at 33, he too is heading into the twilight of his career. When you get to your mid-30s in the lower weight classes, for the most part, though that has changed somewhat in recent years, you are headed toward the end of your run. But Martinez is a good fighter. He's a solid boxer, puncher, who in the first fight, for the most part, tried to stay away from the idea of brawling with Salido, though he was forced in many occasions to do that. Now, because they met in the ring once before, it makes it a little easier to create the keys to victory for these two fighters. That is exactly what I have done. And so let's take a look at the keys to victory for each man, and we'll start with Orlando Salido. As for this Mexican warrior, in the first fight, he was able to get on the inside, but didn't jab his way in as much as he should have. He's got a very good jab. And sometimes when he threw that jab, it was a punishing, almost power shot that stunned Martinez. So he needs to use his jab a lot more. He's got to work the body. He is a phenomenal body puncher, and that was a big part of his attack in the last fight. And the right hand. He's got a big, powerful right hand. He didn't really land it as much as he wanted to in their first fight, and I think that probably was one of the differences in the fight. And the other thing I didn't put in the keys is Salido's got to stay on balance better. When he comes in, sometimes his balance is not good. He's not a great technique fighter, but when he pays attention to technique, he's an infinitely better fighter, not surprisingly. As for Rocky Martinez, we'll look at what he needs to do to win this fight. His jab, also very, very important. I mean, it is vital for him to keep Salido at bay with that punch. When he got in trouble in their first fight was when Martinez languished on the ropes. He can't do that in this fight. And the uppercut, which he landed sporadically in that first fight, could be a huge weapon and could lead to another knockdown, or he believes a knockout of Orlando Salido. So the uppercut is a big weapon. Now, leading into this fight, Martinez has been very vocal about the fact that this time he thinks he's going to knock Orlando Salido out. He did have Salido down. He did have him hurt in several spots. But there's no mistaking the fact that for most of their first 12-round fight, it was give and take. And in the final portion of the fight, it was Salido who was coming on and really controlling the pace. He just couldn't do enough to win, especially based on the fact that there were 2 points deducted and he was knocked down. So all of those rounds probably ended up being 10-8 rounds against Salido. Now, Orlando Salido does bend the rules. We know that. He tends to punch low. He's rough and tumble on the inside. And part of his mission statement in this fight is going to be to try and adhere to the rules, because he can't afford to have more points deducted in this fight. Now, you can still be a rough fighter and fight by the rules. And he's going to want to use his physicality against Rocky Martinez. This fight, I think, should be just as good as the first one. There's no reason to believe that these two men won't engage in another terrific battle. It'll be on September 12th, as I mentioned. It'll be on the pay-per-view that I'll be doing on Showtime pay-per-view. And it's part, as I said, of a really good undercard that includes Badu Jack and George Groves in a 168-pound title match, and some other excellent matches as well, one featuring Johnny Gonzalez. So this one, though, could steal the show that night, and it'll be fun to see which of these two fighters emerges as a victor in their rematch. Join us again. We'll see you next time on Quick Hits.